Hello, it's Delia. Thanks for clicking on. I hope this is working. Today is February 10th, I think, and I was watching the trial about the January 6th insurrection. And some other conversations I was having earlier today with a group of people, and the topic of PTSD and trauma came up, especially in regards to what's happening with the trial and with people pretending this isn't an insurrection or a really bad thing. So one of the things that happened, a lot of people, what came up in this conversation was that a lot of people don't identify their experience as having trauma, or they have some kind of a trauma response, but they've never identified it that way. Or they have PTSD and they've never have it identified that way. And so we were talking about the things that you can identify without a label and without just in your own experience, in your own body. You can tell if these things are happening. So if you're noticing that you're getting particularly agitated and not able to turn the television off, or you're not able to disengage in some way, to go for a walk, to leave the room, to do something else. And if you notice that, you just have to keep doing it more, right? Even though it makes you feel bad. And this is, I'm using today the trial as an example, but there's plenty of things in all the media these days that triggers and re-triggers and reinforces trauma, the trauma that people have experienced. Trauma is entertainment in the movies. Murder is entertainment in the movies and in television shows. Psychological torture is considered entertainment in this day and age. So there's plenty of places where you might be being re-stimulated and re-traumatized. And a way to notice this is you, like you have a hard time sleeping, or you wake up with a start and you're afraid a lot, or you have anxiety attacks, and you watch zombie movies. And I was talking to somebody about that, and she was, oh, but I love zombie movies, and they're so reassuring. Or she said they were fun. But you can get to where you want your trauma response, that you identify it as a friend or as familiar or as comforting or comfortable. And it's not a peaceful thing. But I know a lot of people who have a lot of trauma and trauma responses find peacefulness boring, right? So if you find things going your way boring, unless you're looking for the other shoe to fall, the other shoe to drop, or things going your way is suspicious because something bad has to happen. These are indicators. I'm not saying this is definitive, but they are indicators that you have some trauma and trauma response. So let's say you notice that you're not able to disengage from the thing that's upsetting you, and that it's an elective, that you don't have to be exposed to the thing that's upsetting you, and yet you keep choosing to be exposed to it. That can be your system telling you there's some unresolved pain, which is what trauma is. The way we are built, we are biochemical beings. That's true. Our bodies have chemistry. And we're also electromagnetic, which they don't really talk about. And in a moment of intensity, it's as if there's a spike in the charge, and uh, there's like a set. Everything sets, right? So you've heard of fight or flight. So this would be the freeze part, right? There's fight, flight, and freeze. And this is how the freeze happens: is something is really shocking, and then there's this intensity of emotion, or an intensity of energy that's called emotion, and all these conclusions, decisions, assumptions get made in an instant, and they're like written in stone, like um, don't touch a hot stove, or um, you know well, that's just the most prosaic thing I could think of at the moment. But in that instant, you can make all these decisions about how life is, and about how other people are, and about how you are, and all kinds of stuff. And it all happens faster than you think you're thinking. So then you have something that's frozen in that moment of intensity. And think of it this way. Think of it as though there is a part of you that got frozen in that moment, and it's suspended there. And so you go on, and the moment passes, and your cortisol levels are very high, and you may have that metallic taste from the adrenaline. You may have all kinds of biological, biochemical, physiological responses. And pretty much the system is, your focus is probably get things back to normal as soon as possible, because that's what is prized and taught in our culture. So the thing is that there's whatever got split off and frozen in that moment stays there. So, and reintegrating that to bring that part back in, to move on from that moment, um, takes doing something. In shamanism, this can be considered like a soul retrieval thing. I'm not a shamanist, so don't teach me about it, and don't take my word for it. If you're curious about shamanism, which I really respect, go research shamanism. But in the work that I do, for instance, is like that, in the sense that there are processes and things that we can do to address the part that got frozen. Um, but that's a whole other thing. So the reason I wanted to jump on here was I wanted to give you some tools in case you find yourself in the watching the trial, or in any other circumstance where you're feeling that kind of frozen, and you have to stay and watch even though it's terrifying you. One of my best examples of this is when I was starting to learn about energy work years and years ago. I went to see, it's about 2 years later, when this movie came out. It was a Clint Eastwood movie, not Band of Brothers, but one of those World War II movies, right? And for various reasons, I've always had a big affinity with World War II, as many people. It's been a mainstream of our television or movies for so long. And during this movie, which was horrifyingly realistic and glorifying war, and how, all that kind of thing, my my body was having a really hard time being in the theater, and I was with someone that I didn't feel comfortable enough to just get up and leave. And so I had recently learned a really potent technique, which is so simple, so simple. And so I pat the body, which is like having your hand comfortingly on your body. I'm doing it on my shoulder so you can see, because it's not pat the body like good dog. It's like companionable, like friends. Uh, it just sounds better than rub your leg. But having your hand somewhere comfortingly and in a friendly kind of a way on your body. And what I was doing was I was reminding my body, we have never been in World War II. We have never been in World War II. This body has never been in World War II. And as silly as it sounds, it was a real comfort to my body to be reassured that it had never been in World War II and it was not in World War II right now. Because when you're watching something, we really have intelligence messed up. The intelligence of the body is to see things, and it's as real to the body as if it was happening in physical reality, because the body is not built for the lying machines that we have, television and movies. And so when the body sees something, it thinks it's happening. Like it doesn't really make a distinction between a dream and real life and movies, right? It's just seeing it, and it gets the cascades of all the peptides and everything, as though what's happening on the screen is happening for the body. So that is intelligence, by the way, and this other thing is not. I don't know what it is, but it's not intelligence. So your body has this extraordinary intelligence. And if you find yourself disturbed by what's happening in this moment, first of all, if you are in physical danger in this physical moment, extract yourself in whatever way possible. Don't be in danger and try to talk yourself. Um, oh no, I'm just promoting. I'm just projecting that. Be kind and get out of danger. But if you're like using this example of being at the movies and patting the body and reminding the body that this is not World War II, we're not in the war, and then using today's date, whatever date it is, and this helps to, repeating today's date helps to bring you into present time. So if something happened, whether it was in your past or in a past life past or in a fantasy past, using today's date helps to bring your attention and your energy into this moment, to right here, right now. So in that movie theater, I was patting the body, reminding my body we'd never been in World War II. I, as an infinite being, might have been in World War II, but this body had never been in World War II. And we weren't in World War II now, we were in a movie, and today's date was whatever today's date was. And in watching the films, in the videos in this trial today, I have had violent past things happen. And so one of the things that I was doing was flipping, the channel and going and doing something else and going and walking and telling my body, this is not happening right now. It's happening. A thing is happening right now, but I was not at the Capitol that day. I was not in there. And those things happen to other people, and these serious people need to make some judgments about it. But my emotional investment does not help. My stomach acids does not help. My getting flipped out about it or being angry about it or anything, it's not my job. It's not a contribution for me to be upset about it. I do want to know about it, but I don't have to invest all of my body and being. I don't have to process everything through my body. And so using today's date, changing the channel, going for a walk, all these things help to interrupt the cycle, because my body does have past time experiences of violence that get stimulated, right? And so gratefully, it was all a long time ago. So now I know a lot of things about what to do to not fall for it, to not, fall into it, to fall into the PTSD or the trauma response, or be afraid and get all those um, cortisol and biochemical things going. So if you find yourself stimulated with shortness of breath and fear and anxiety and wanting to run and leave, but not being able to, and kind of having your eyes glued on whatever it is that's scaring you. And again, I'm talking about like a television show. I'm not talking about being in actual physical danger. That's a whole other topic. Extract yourself from that. But if you're being stimulated in some ways, and it doesn't have to be by media, it could be in a conversation with somebody. Be present with yourself, and by that, partly it is touching yourself, like getting aware of your body, because usually what happens is, well, when something really violent or disturbing happens, you'll shoot out of your body. So you want to be in your body, pat your body, to be right here, right now. Look around you and see if you are actually safe. And if so, say that in your head to your body. It's okay, buddy, we're safe. Don't make your body wrong for doing its job, which is to alert you that there might be something wrong going on. If there's something wrong going on, you would want to know that. Your body's doing its job to protect you. So you pat your body, you make sure that you actually are safe, and then you start to repeat today's date. So today is February 10th, 2021. The walls are beige. Some lights are on, some lights are not on. It's snowing outside. It's quiet. It's the evening. And my feet are uh, not warm or cold. They're just fine. So, really take an inventory about what's happening right here, right now, to help draw all of your attention back from out there, wherever, and back into right here, right now with your body. Your body is such an asset and such a great friend. And one of its strengths is to help you be in the present moment. Because the present moment, no matter what is happening, the present moment is the moment of most power. So the more you can pour yourself into right here, right now, the more peace, the more power, the more energy you can have right here, right now. So pat the body, look around you, do a little mental inventory of what you can see, what you can hear, what you can smell. Are your feet warm or cold? Is your body, do you need to go to the bathroom? Is your body okay? And then if you're being stimulated by something you're watching or seeing, just reassure your body, no, body, that's not happening in this body. It's not happening right now, right? And then using today's date, February 10th, 2021, February 10th, 2021. And just keep repeating today's date until you really come home. And you will notice a difference. Your shoulders may come out of your ears, your breathing gets better, your stomach may kind of relax and pop out a little bit. All of those are great things. And they're all you coming home. This is your body feeling better because you've come back. So if you're having any kind of trauma, whether you identify it that way or not, or PTSD, or hypervigilance, or anxiety, you can use these techniques and it will make a huge difference. So if you use them, I would love to hear in the notes below in the comments what your experience was. Thank you so much, and be sweet to you. Okay, thanks.